a committee to look into salaries in the fire department. He led that committee previously on some issues with driver pay at the street department, the sanitation department, and then finally at the Conway Police Department. So he did a good job back then. I think he has a member or two here. At this time, I will turn it over to Alderman Grimes.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a few statements to make, and then I've got a couple of handouts, and Felicia has handouts for the audience when we get to that point. I've got some for the council. First and foremost, all this that we're going to look at is for discussion only. There's nothing implied by our discussion that it will be done this way or a different way. We're just discussing it, see what we can come up with. Since 2016, since Mayor Castleberry was sworn in, there has been a 27% increase in fire department pay. Now, that said, other cities have given raises too, so we do have to look to make sure we're keeping up the best we can. And since 2018, there's been approximately $9.7 million in capital purchases made by the city, including $316,000 for a bomb squad robot. In 2019, we bought a pumper truck for $720,000, an ammunition burner in 2022 for $350,000, built a new fire station for $3.5 million a couple years ago. Last year, we bought 4 new Ram 250 4x4s for $200,000. And I think we just picked up a new truck that we bought, $742,000, and got 3 more on the way. So we are trying to keep up best we can with the capital purchases as well. Now, the numbers you're going to see later when I hand these out, they're generally accurate. And what I mean by that is this is not made to be the final version. There may be a keystroke wrong here or there. There may be a rounding error. Some of the tracking certificate hours these firemen have done, the version I have, they may have taken some classes since then, so the hours may be off a little, but for discussion purposes, it works, all right? Apples to apples comparisons are hard to come by. You know, comparing to other cities certainly can be useful, but not all cities have the same structure, not even the same job titles. Also, apples to apples, North Little Rock, they own their utility company. They own their Conway Corporation. And each year, they subsidize this general fund to the tune of $14 million from the utility. If we had $14 million each year from Conway Corp, we could fund all this and more. So apples to apples are hard to come by, but comparisons can be useful. Mayor Castleberry, as you said, did put a committee together that I chaired with some people from the community, Audie Allenbaugh, Ronnie Williams, and Crystal Floyd. I think she's here. Appreciate their help. From the city, we had help from Cody Arnold, HR, Lisa Mabry Williams, and Tyler Winningham. And we met 4 times, and we had some very good discussions, some very good feedback came out of that. We met one time with Chief Winter. And what we ended up doing, we asked Chief Winter to, if you had a blank slate, design a new salary scale from scratch. You know, nothing's out of bounds, just come up with what would be a better way, if there is a better way. And one of the first things he told me was, if we do adopt something new, a new structure, he's been here 31 years, I think, something like that. He said this will be the 4th different pay structure they've had. So it changes periodically. I guess after a while, somebody thinks you can do something better, maybe you can. And so it's not the first time we've looked to do something different. We asked him to just come up with the structure. Don't put any numbers in there. Don't come up with dollar figures that you recommend. That's for us to figure out, but come up with the structure. And he did something very smart. He's a good chief. He got a committee together of his people. He got 1 firefighter, and this is what I understand. He got 1 firefighter, 1 captain, 1 engineer, and 1 battalion chief. And they got together and came up with what we're going to look at tonight. Okay. Our committee really liked what they came up with. Incentive pay, you'll see currently in the fire department, we only do 1 incentive pay. The paramedic pays $4,000 a year if you're a paramedic. There's no other incentive pay that adds your salary. In the police department, now, police and fire, we're not looking for parity here. They're not the same jobs, they're not the same job descriptions. We're not looking for the same base pay. But as far as incentives, they kind of copied what the police have as far as their incentives. And that makes a lot of sense. You know, if a master's degree is worth something to a policeman, it ought to be worth the same to a fireman. That kind of makes sense. So they kind of came up with a structure of incentives that looked like the police department. I will go ahead and say that what you're going to see is, I think, a very good step in the right direction. It all comes down to available money. Okay, it all comes down to money. And what I'm going to show you is kind of where we landed. Ultimately, the council can decide to do that, or less, or more, or some of it, or whatever they want to do. But I think it lays out a framework where we get something happening now, but also builds a framework that's easier to add to later.
Forward.
The current framework, with no incentive pay even built in, and the way these certificate classes work into promotions, it's kind of cumbersome. I thought it was cumbersome, and I asked Mike, and he thought it was kind of cumbersome, and they came up with something a little different. So I like this the way it looks. So I will pass this out. Felicia, you can hand out that first one. There should be enough of these for everybody.
Leave up the thinking binder. How's everybody doing?
For you.
Okay, this looks like a lot of stuff on paper, and it is, but I'll try to go through this as succinctly and clearly as possible. If any of you guys have any questions as we go along, just holler though, and we'll walk through it. Okay. Basically, the front page are the bulk of the personnel. There's 112 on here. I think maybe 113. I think there was a vacancy that came up when we were in the middle of this. So we're looking at 112 personnel on this list. Close enough for what we're trying to do. Oh, I'd say 100 of them are on that front page. Okay, you've got three basic levels. You've got the firefighters, engineers, and then captains. Okay. And you can see in that second row where it says employees now, that's how many are currently in those positions. All right, we've got 21 basic firefighters, entry level. All right, and you can see the one column's got current pay, and one current's got a pay rate for possible new. Now, what the committee came up with, as you can see, the gray level, the highlighted gray, the highlighted blue, and highlighted green, these are new levels they put. So basically, they added one new level at the top tier, or at the end, I guess, of each of those categories. All right. So starting with basic fire, there's currently 38 people who are firefighters in currently 4 levels. If you look, there's 3 people in intermediate, 0 in advanced. And then, so our community did not feel there was a need to add another level, because most of these firefighters don't stay in there as a firefighter all that long. They promote up to engineer. So there's no need to add another level. But what we did here was that, in that year, this generally, this is where you have your firefighters, obviously when they start. But then year, 2, 3, year 4 is when they maybe move up to intermediate. And so we thought we could put a pay bump in there at intermediate. You can see it's 3.8%, take that to 54,000, and that would give those 3 people in that area a change right now. Even take the advanced firefighter up to 55. Of course, there's no one in that rank. And you're kind of pinched on how high you could take that number at 54,000, because the starting basic engineer salary is 55,600. So you can't make it more than that. So you're kind of pinched on how much you can go, but that's a start, okay? Then when you go to the engineer, that next section, there were currently only 3 levels. They added a 4th idea because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, you can't promote from firefighter to engineer until there's an opening. And you can't promote from engineer to captain until there's an opening.
Correct.
Okay. And so and you'll see it more at the captain level, but what you see at the engineer level, 2 are at basic, then you've got 14 at general and 14 at advanced. Those 14 at advanced are pretty much stuck there until.
Chief Weedor, I know you can't promote from engineer to captain unless there's a position. Can you promote within the firefighter rank from? Okay,
Okay.
thank you. That's what I want to be sure.
Okay, thank you.
You come to the mic.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sam, can you
That's
come-
why I was,
I was just want to ask, could he come to the mic so the people at home hear? what-
Yes, thank you, Mr. Jones. You're right. Thank you.
that's why you don't see a log jam at the firefighter level, intermediate or advanced. New fourth tiered engineer would give some of these guys an advanced place to go while they're waiting. And currently, that would be 9 people. 9 people, that 14 could move to that blue level immediately if we chose to create that level at a pay rate of $64,000, and that would be a bump of 2.3%. On to captain, you'll see where the logjam really hits. People get to captain and then advance up, but then there's nowhere to go. If you flip the page real quick, you'll see the next place to go is battalion chief, and there's only 6 of those. All right, those don't turn over nearly as quickly. So as long as there's 6 battalion chiefs, there's nowhere for anybody to promote up from captain. So they get stuck at that 30, at that advanced. There's 31 of those. If we, at that 4th level, the green level, 18 of those 31 would move up immediately because they have the time in to move up. And the proposed salary at that is $78,000. That's a 4% increase. Okay. Now what that does, that relieves some pressure on the bottleneck, but I mean, if you only have 6 places for 34 guys to go, there's going to be bottleneck always. That's just the way it's going to be. All right. And then if you flip the page, nothing really different with the 6 battalion chiefs, 3 assistant chiefs, and 1 chief. All right, now here's where we get difference in. Incentive pays, different levels of incentive pay. All the ones in pink are the ones that were suggested by Chief Winter's committee, all right? As I mentioned before, the only one we currently have is paramedics. If you're a paramedic, you have a paramedic license, you can get $4,000 extra to your annual salary. And there's 12 people who have that, all right? There is an advanced EMT. It's my understanding that all firefighters have to become EMTs when they start. But there is an advanced EMT license, which 4 people have, which obviously is more skilled than just EMT and has some value. And we put a value of that at $1,000 if you're advanced EMT. And currently 4 people have that. Education incentive pay, this matches the police. Their committee, the Chief Winters Committee, listed an associate degree in field and bachelor's degree in field. Well, we took off in field. The police don't have anything qualified in field, just a degree is a degree. And then we added a master's degree because the police have a master's degree. And you can see that 6 firefighters have an associate degree worth $1,000 each, and 7 have a bachelor's degree worth $15 each. And again, this is not cumulative. You don't get each pay level. You get the highest one that you have. All right. Same with the medical incentive pay. You don't get both. If you become a paramedic, you get the highest one. Language incentive pay. This currently is on the the police department at $750 incentive, and there's 4 of them. Well, in looking at North Little Rock to try to be somewhat looking what they do, they pay $3,000 for language incentive pay, Spanish or American Sign Language or any other language. So we thought, well, we can do $3,000. There's 4 policemen. There's 4 policemen. There's 2 firemen. And so if we do this, we would take the police up from $750 to $3,000 as well, keep that even. And then that's the valuable skill, and it's certainly worth $3,000. All right. And so part of what that does, those 3 right there, this would get us matched with North Little Rock. North Little Rock's incentive pay, you can get $9,000, actually $9,024. But if you were a paramedic with a master's and bilingual, you get $9,000. So that would put us on par with North Little Rock in that capacity. Then if you move down to the certificate pay is interesting in that currently to promote in a lot of these areas, you have to take classes, get certificates, build up the hours. All right. And so what by not paying certificate pay separately, the way they get paid for certificates is when they promote, it's in their base pay. All right? And so, and the formula's kind of convoluted with point systems. Some classes are worth 0.5 and some are worth 1.0, and you have to get to 4 points to move up. Anyway, it's not as simple as this, and this is cleaner. So basically, everyone is in the rank they are, in the position they are, in the pay they are, based upon what they've already taken for incentives. Well, we'll obviously leave that alone. That pay would remain the same. We're not going to try to adjust it down for moving incentive pay somewhere else. We're going to keep that base pay as is, but then add on incentive pay. And so they suggested 5 levels. The police have 4. They suggested 5. And, they called them basic, general, intermediate, advanced, and senior. Well, it'd be cleaner if you just called them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because what that also does, it gives you the chance later to expand upon this. Maybe we go to level 6. Maybe we go to level 7, level 8. Because some people have 600, 700, 800 hours. Okay, so you can build upon that and add more as you go. And you can see, actually, there's 12 who at level 1, 31 at level 5. And those are the dollars amounts. 31 people at level 5 will get $1,000 extra for certificate pay. And again, it's called incentive pay for a reason. It incentivizes people to take the classes that help them do their job, and they will get monetarily rewarded for doing so. All right? And the last one, longevity pay, they suggested a tiered system every 5 years, but again, to match the police at year 10, you start getting longevity pay, and it's $90 per year. So at year 10, you get $900. Year 11, you get $990. Every year it adds $90 more. And it's my understanding that is not added to your base pay check. It's done one time each November, basically as a bonus. And so that's kind of nice. You get it, a nice pre-Christmas bonus. So it's a one-time deal. There's 55 people currently with 10 years or more. Some people have 20, some people have 30 years. So that adds up pretty quickly. So that is the general framework of what we're looking to do. All right? I've got a handout later that actually applies some numbers to that, but any questions about any of that right now?
I got one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Were they pretty, or they kind of wanted this? Did you get the feeling from this was okay with them, or you hadn't talked it over with everybody?
Well, the mayor and I met with Chief Winter, and he seemed like this was, and this is the framework they came up with. We applied the numbers, and again, if we're going to hear later from Mr. Winningham that sales taxes are again down another month. So you'll see what the committee put together as far as applying some numbers, hard numbers to this. The bottom line, it's not where I would like for it to be at this point. I think it's a good start. You'll see that some people, depending upon how long they've been here and how much stuff they've done, they're going to get a very nice bump. Anyway, I'm going to show that to you in just a second. So Chief Winter thought this was, a good starting place. All right. Felicia, you can hand up those other, and there's not as many of these if y'all can share. This was a lot of, one, y'all share, and then one for Bart, and then those, each ward can share. This was a lot of color prints. All right, you can go ahead and turn to the very back page, and we'll read the last chapter first, page 4. All right, with this proposal as is, or as stated here, go to the bottom right-hand corner. Now, one thing to consider too, on any additional pay, you have to add in the lot fee contribution, and it's not insignificant. 24% goes to the lot fee fund, so that adds a pretty hefty chunk to each of this, but that's just the way it is. But as this paper is printed, the increase to the general fund for an annual basis would be basically $330,000, or about 3.7%. All right. Now, if you flip back to the first page real quick, and of course, I did not put any names on here, no identifiers, but if you digged hard enough, you can figure out what levels these are. Well, like the top one, they would get a 10% increase day one if all this went into effect immediately, because again, that green level, this person is a captain advanced, they would move to the new captain senior and get that $3,031 raise for that. They are an advanced EMT, so they would get $1,000. They've got $800 worth of certificate hours, and they've for 30 years, they get $2,700 annually. So that, a 10% increase. You can kind of see there's, several in the 9s, 8s, 7s. I put these in order of increase, all right? And under this proposal, 96 out of 112 get something. The ones at the bottom, obviously, are mostly brand-new firefighters who haven't had time yet, obviously, to accrue longevity, but haven't had time yet either to take enough certificate hours to start adding up. All right? So again, currently, the only incentive pay is paramedic, but you can see that the bulk of the raises come from that group we're looking at, who are bunched up there in that green category. The fire captains, the 31 fire captains advanced, who are kind of stuck, they would get, an immediate bump. And then some of those guys have degrees and other things, bilingual. And so if you turn to the back page again, that is, you can see, we can take several approaches with this. If we liked this the way it was, we could implement it July 1 for half a year, and that hits the general fund would be half of 330. Of course, it would go into next year's as well. We could put it as part of the 2026 budget, as we do budgeting in November and December. We could implement it in pieces. One thing that might be wise is on longevity pay. If we're not going to pay it till November anyway, we could just kind of hold that in our back pocket until October, November to see how sales taxes are going. So we could implement everything but that. You can see that is the biggest chunk. That's 124,000 of the 330. So well over a third of it. So that is pretty much all I have to say right now, but I will entertain any thoughts or questions from y'all.
I just want to say, man, I appreciate what you've done, because this is really in depth, and this is what, whether it's accepted or not, is what we needed to see it first, and this is great.
Yeah. Well, we won't meet again for a month, and at that time we could come back with some possible action items. What's easily doable, I think, is those 3 carve-out incentives: the paramedic pay, which is already there, the education pay, and the language pay. That the paramedic's already there. The language would only add 32,000, or the education language would add 32,000. So that's easy to do. We could do that, anytime. Certificate pay, I think, is doable, but then, the longevity pay, again, is something maybe just hold off on until we see how the rest of the year is kind of going. But and again, it sets it up for the future where, if the sales tax revenues turn around, you can tweak. It gives you more things to tweak. It gives you more things to tweak. You could tweak the base pay. Let's just say COLA is 2%. Well, we could make this one an extra 1% perhaps. You can always mess around with the certificate pay value, adding tiers or whatnot. So anyway, I think it provides a bit of framework where you got some flexibility.
Any questions, Mr. Grimes?
Maybe not for Mr. Grimes, maybe the 2 former firemen here. What's the difference between, I noticed with all these positions that are listed on the first page that we got, you have like firefighter, engineer general, and firefighter, engineer general staff, and they have different hours and the same pay. I don't know, yeah.
Staff are the personnel that work in training, fire prevention, things like that. They're ranked as a captain.
Okay.
But I think their hours, is it how many, 2,080? They work 2,080 hours a year, whereas a firefighter, how many is it, Chief Wheeler? 3,000 and what? 3,023. So there is a discrepancy there in their hourly rate, but it's based on their rank.
We, from the chief,
Chief Winter is.
I said Weeder.
Yes, we.
Could he come up and tell us what he thought?
Hey, Kenny, I think Mr. Jones would like you to come on up, please, sir.
Sorry, man, I just want to get your feel of what you thought about this, man.
This was obviously the first time that I've ever seen this, so.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nobody's really looked at it other than Chief Winter on our end, so. And I can give you, he has a statement here that he wanted me to read. It's very brief. Says, I'm appreciative of the committee and their time spent on this. He believes it creates an avenue for those who want to better themselves in this department. So it's pretty brief, but kind of sums up his feelings on it. But I've not seen it, so.
Okay, I'm
like I said,
sorry,
this
man.
tonight
I
the
was
first
just
time.
under the impression that I was the only one that hadn't seen it. Man. I mean,
Yeah.
we were the only one.
No.
But, okay, I'm sorry, man. I need to put you on the spot.
I don't know if anybody else has seen it other than.
I've not.
Mhm.
This is first for everybody.
Glad to answer anything though.
So yes, there's
I don't
obviously.
get to come up here often. So.
You can
Well,
stand up and tell us
what-
how you feel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief.
Bet.
Any other
Obviously, there's
questions?
no action item tonight, but we can, and we'll continue to visit Mayor with the chief, and we'll figure out what maybe recommend at our next meeting as possible action steps, which we could act on or not.
I have that it is 5:58. Why don't we reconvene the council meeting at 6:05? That'll give everybody a chance to, whatever they need to do. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
We proceed each council meeting with a word of prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would like, please feel free to join us. Bow with me, please. Thank you, Lord, for your goodness, your grace, your mercy, your love, your awesome power. Just praise you for who you are. Pray for our decisions.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now call this meeting to order. Miss Hurd, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Hawkins?
Here.
Mr. Grimes? Here. Mr. Spurgers?
Here.
Ms. Mel?
Here.
Mr. Ledbetter? Here. Mr. Hawks?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Ms. Iffy?
Here.
You should have received a copy of the May 13th, 2025 City Council minutes. Any corrections, changes, or comments?
Make a motion for approval as submitted.
Okay.
Have a motion and approval for minutes for May 13th. There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 8-0. Mr. Winningham is up first tonight for the monthly financials.
Boo.
Yeah.
Woo. Boo.
Evening, council.
So good.
Pardon?
Not so good.
The evening's good. So we're headed for what appears to be a challenging year. It's not a problem unique to us. If you look across the state, most other cities our size and larger are experiencing the same thing. With this sales tax revenue being down, there are a few cities that are seeing upward trends. I don't know enough about their specific local economies to know why theirs is doing good when everybody else's is not doing as good. But I think we're headed for a challenging year, but I don't think it's going to be a devastating year at all. Sales tax in April was down 1.9% compared to the same month last year. For the year, we're down 3.6%. Budgeted.
Give us a dollar amount for that, Mr.
I will.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. You go right ahead.
We budgeted 3% growth. So when you budget for growth and your actuals are negative, that can cause a pretty big gap there. If the current trend continues, we're going to miss our sales tax budget this year by $1.5 million. And we could have some other revenues that do better. If you look down through the revenue section in the general fund, you can see that our Parks and Rec revenue is doing really well so far this year. We could have other revenue streams that beat their budget, but we don't have anything else large enough to make up for that difference. The sales tax makes up such a large portion of our budget. So that's what I'm seeing. Bright spot in this is airport fuel sales was up 23%. They're selling fuel at a quarter, almost more than they were last year. So good news there. But we're just going to continue to monitor it. We're still under a very strict spending freeze. We're looking at every purchase that the department requests, evaluating need versus want and timing. So we're doing our best to keep everything in control.
And I noticed I chuckled out loud when you mentioned the 23% at the airport. What I don't want is for the public to think that myself or anyone up here is taking this lightly. We understand. Were this not a trend that we're not seeing just in Arkansas, we are seeing nationally at this time. If it were just in Conway, Arkansas, I would be worried tremendously. But I think this is something that many cities, many governments are going to have to take a hard look at their budgets after this year. And that could change overnight. So that's just, I want to straighten that out. Any questions of Mr. Winningham?
With that information, Mr. Winningham, I'd like to go to some fund information on the very last page that you provide to
Sure, the project funds.
all the time. Yes, sir. Just to make sure that we are not in any kind of dire situations on anything. would you mind going over some of these with us? And-
Do you want to talk about like what each one's used for?
No, just that either we've got money in it and we've got what we need to have for things that we've got programmed for future,
Mhm.
or just where we are with that stuff.
Okay. So the first one listed there is our Parks and Rec A&P tax. At the end of April, we had 1.5 million in there. I can tell you during April, we about wiped that bad boy out. We got a lot of spending going on finishing the community center. We've got A&P funds pledged for that. We've also got general funds pledged for that. So once we noticed that, we tapped the brakes on spending the A&P part, switched over to spending the general fund portion. Neither one is really convenient to spend at this time, just the way things are, but that's still a priority to get that community center finished and up and running. So I haven't looked in a couple days. We got the balance down to like 38,000, and then we had a month deposit to put in that put it back up to about close to 500,000. So Parks and Rec A&P, we're having to watch it closer than we have in a while, similar to the general fund, just because of the current events we've got going on there.
And this is a snowball effect. I want all aldermen to hear this. That if people aren't coming to town to spend money in our stores, to buy clothes or to buy sporting goods or to buy whatever it happens to be, they're not eating out. They're not stopping in our restaurants. They're not stopping at our places downtown. So there's more than just one effect here that's going on, and we need to be very vigilant about what we do with money from here out.
Good news is there is, I mentioned last month when we were looking at the March financials, I went and looked at how sales tax was doing in each business category as far as the information we can get from the state. Restaurants and other eating was actually one of the categories that continues to be up. So
Yeah, Mike Coates had
good.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
I ran into him, yeah.
whether that's due to tourism or whether that's due to
It's
local
seating,
patrons
yeah.
just continuing to go, I don't know that, but that was a bright spot. The next project fund down is the pay-as-you-go sales tax. That is the quarter cent portion of the city sales tax that goes towards primarily major street projects. And then we also divide up $500,000 each year evenly between police and fire for vehicles, police vehicles, and then fire. We've been using that for the financing payments on these fire trucks that we've got ordered that we've been waiting on. So you can see there we got, at the end of April, we had just under 14 million there. I know everything in there that's gonna be spent on streets, I believe there's a plan for that. Even though we've got a large balance there,
Balance.
I think Jacob and Kurt have projects projected
The work
out.
plan is out there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
to keep that money. There's always a plan for spending it. in other
Imagine the
words.
bulk of it's to finish out Salem Road.
I think they've been spending Salem Road out of the street sales tax, the next to the
That's
next to
correct.
the last one.
I'm sorry, that's one I was looking at, but yes.
The two impact fee accounts, street impact and parks impact. You can see the street impact at the end of April, we had 2.5 million. Parks impact, we had 400,000. I don't really know what project projections are on those. Those we tend to just budget as a project comes up. So when I do the budget each year for these, I'll budget revenue, but I don't budget any expenditures because usually either the Parks Department or the Transportation Department will come to you and ask for an appropriation of impact fee funding to finish a specific project. And that's how we get budget for those. So trying to remember what we've been using the street impact fees for lately. There is a project, I think it may be a roundabout construction or something that's going on, but I can't remember specifically.
We have one going at Princeton Country Club, one at Highway 64 in Hogan.
Okay.
Again, I don't remember specifically. I know we're spending some street impact fee money right now on the project, but I can't remember specifically which one that is. The next one down, the street sales tax, that's the 3/8 cent that we had for 5 years. Started in 2018, It sunset in 2023. We've got just under 19.5 million in that, and that is all. There is plans to spend that with primarily matches to RDOT for large street projects in the city. And then last one there, the American Rescue Plan Act, that's the funding we still have left to spend from the American Rescue Plan Act, the, excuse me, the funding that went out to every city and town in the United States after the pandemic. So we've just about got that all spent, and we have until the end of next year to fully spend that.
That can be spent on what?
All we've got left to spend on it is, I believe, I think all we've got left is I think drainage might be done. Is all we have left the shelter? I think we've got one item still to do at the overnight shelter to spend this on, and then we'll be done with that. Yes, sir.
I didn't mean to push you if you
No,
felt
sir.
ambushed. That was not my intent whatsoever. I just wanted everybody to know that we've got some money in funds here, but we do need to take real good care of
Yes.
things.
Absolutely.
Him, thank you very much for elaborating on.
You're very welcome.
Council, any other questions, Mr. Winningham? Thank you, Tyler.
Sir.
With that, Mayor, I'll make a motion for the approval of the financials for April 30th of 2025.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to approve the monthly financials. Any further discussion? It's heard.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Passes 8-0. Next up, we have Community Development, and Mr. Hawkins. I will turn this over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item here is consideration to approve waiving all three readings for the ordinances on tonight's city council agenda. There are 7 of those that we will have on the agenda tonight, and I'll take a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to waive all three readings for the May 27th City Council agenda. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
8-0. Mr. Hawkins.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is an ordinance to approve the private club permit location for Promoting Progress, Inc., DBA Lost Pizza Company, Conway, located at 2600 College Avenue, Suite 100. That's on the 3-4 side of town. And we have an ordinance to read for this item. It's ordinance 025
46.
46.
And I believe Brad and Sarah are here, Mr. Hawkins. Are the McDaniels, are you?
Oh,
You're
cool.
welcome to come on up if you'd like
Come
to.
up.
Let everybody see you and meet you. If you would, state your name and address for the record, please.
Brad and Sarah McDaniel, 2600 College Avenue. Conway.
Suite 245.
No,
Apartment 245.
I've already, now, y'all are in the new building there, right?
we are.
Urban One of my sons and his family have been there, and they said it was really good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, my wife and I've got it on the list for this weekend.
One of the city aldermen sitting in this seat has been there a couple of times, and I've been very impressed with it as well. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed.
Take me, huh?
It was raining that night, and I didn't want you to get hurt. I can't remember the second night what my excuse was.
Lord.
Are you,
Been looking out for.
are you worried about him falling, Mr. Hawkins? Is that what it is?
I'm sorry.
Are you worried about him falling? Is that what it is?
I didn't say that. You said that.
Well, I understand that. That's my problem. Anyway, thank you all. Council, back to you. I'll bring us back to you.
I'll make a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance to approve a private club permit for Lost Pizza Company. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Mr. Spurgers?
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Hawks?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Yes.
Your people are very accommodating that work there.
Good.
Very
Thank you
good.
so much.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
Good luck. Mr. Hawkins.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is a resolution accepting and approving the grant agreement for the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant. That's a project that's in partnership with Conway Corporation and the City of Conway. Good evening. Tell us some good stuff.
Yeah, we were fortunate to win an award through MetroPlan, and this grant is funded through EPA dollars. But this grant will help us convert the rest of the street lights here in Conway to LED lights. And we have some representatives from Conway Corp, Dale and Lindsay are here as well.
Excellent.
They did the heavy lifting on this grant application, but we just need you guys to approve this resolution so that we can enter any contract agreements necessary for this grant.
Any questions?
I see Dale Gottspiner back there from Common Corporate. I know he's wanting to get up and say something. Anyway, Dale is here from Conway Corp. If you had any questions for him, but if not, we'll bring it back to you, council.
I'll make a motion for adoption of the resolution.
Okay.
And
Have a-
that's resolution
R 2515.
15. Thank you.
Have a motion, a second, to approve this resolution granting agreement for the climate pollution reduction grant project for the city of Conway and Conway Corp. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That passes 8-0. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Dale. Mr. Hawkins.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is resolution approving the submittal of the program year 2025 annual action plan and budget for the Community Development Department. Shawana, good evening.
Good evening, council. How are y'all today?
Good.
Good.
Good. I have before you a revised budget sheet, and I'm here to get our annual action plan for 2025 approved along with the budget. That way we can get our final numbers from HUD and get it solidified. Right now, we are approved for $510,478 for this program year.
Move for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution for the program year 2025 annual action plan and budget for the Conway Development Department for CDBG. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Passes 8-0. Thank you, Shawana.
Thank you all.
Mr. Hawkins.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is an ordinance to appropriate donation funds for the Conway Tree Board. This is in the amount of $422. And Ms. Tucker, what can you tell us?
Well, Arkansas Interfaith Power and Light has donated, I believe it's through a grant, $422.73, and we're asking that you appropriate it so the tree board can do big things, like give away a lot more trees. They've been
Grow
giving away
tall
a ton of trees.
I'll make a motion for the adoption of the ordinance 02547.
I have a motion and a second to approve this ordinance for donations for funds for the Conway Tree Board. Any further discussion?
Now is a good time to put them in the ground while it's
It
soft.
is. Yes, it is.
We got a bunch of them falling down.
There were.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ground is soggy. Ms. Hurd.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Spurgers?
Aye.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Mr. Hawks?
Yes.
And Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Excuse
And
me,
you're
did you
up
say
again.
2514?
That
was 47.
47.
Ordinance 47.
I knew I heard that wrong.
Mr. Hawkins.
And final item here, Mr. Mayor, is an ordinance to rezone property at number 1 Laura Lane. It currently is zoned R1. The requested zoning is to go to R2. This was reviewed by the Planning Commission at their meeting on May 19th. And at that time, the commission voted 8-0 to forward this to City Council with a recommendation for approval. And we have an ordinance to read for this item. It's ordinance 02548.
Yes, this was initially supposed to be heard at the April 21st Planning Commission. The applicant was not there, so it was tabled. It was presented at the May 19th meeting. It passed unanimously with minimal discussion, and the applicant is here tonight, or their representative, there you go, if you would like to hear from her. And all of the zoning around it, it conforms. It's all R2, just about all of it.
Ms. Brassel, are you here? Come on up. If you would, introduce yourself. You state your name and address, please, for the record.
Good evening. My name is Ellie Brissell, and I reside in Maumelle. but I'm a local realtor here in the Conway and North Little Rock area.
Welcome to Conway.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Thank you. So what we're asking is to have a home built in the 1940s that is struggling to survive as a rental, that it be zoned as a duplex so they can put something newer and nicer there. Right now, we're having some problems with the original brick fireplace causing some floor issues, and then just years of rain and wear. The joists are pretty moist, and everything around it is across the street, and next door is all duplexes at this point. And the owner does own the house right next to it as well, and that's also R2.
Thank you. I'll
Looking for
make
a
a
motion.
motion for the adoption of the ordinance 02548.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance to rezone property located at number 1 Laura Lane from R1 to R2. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Hawks?
Yes.
Mr. Spurgers?
Aye.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins.
Sir.
All right, next up, we have the Public Service Committee. Jamie is going to talk to you guys about the fee structure for the Conway Community Center. But first, I need a drum roll, please.
Have a day.
So we have a date. So as you know, Jamie and her team have been working very hard to get the community center open. They originally started off with a wild date of June 1st. Then we backed it up to July 4th. Anyone who has been anywhere in Arkansas will realize the weather has set us back tremendously. She gave me a date today of July 17th. So we will be open this summer. We'll have about 6 weeks before school starts that kids can go out and enjoy it. So, but everyone that's listening, please keep in the back of your head about how much rain we've had and how much really we still have forecast. I think we've got some scheduled for this week. But anyway, to Jamie and Felicia and Shawana and everyone that's worked on this, thank you. I know folks have really been pushing you. I've probably been pushing you too hard, but you've given us a date and we're happy. So floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I am happy as well, and I will say that Nabholz has done an outstanding job with this project,
Yes.
keeping it on budget and on time. So we are very fortunate to have them on our team. Tonight, there's an ordinance before you to make the rates official. Some of those you have already seen. We added the party rooms and renting the facilities such as the volleyball, pickleball courts, leisure pools. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Do I have to rent out the lazy river, or is it just?
You can rent out the lazy river. There's an outdoor aquatic rental fee on there. So that will be open on Sunday nights.
$2,500.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mr. Jones, you fall under the senior resident thing. But so do I.
I do have a couple of questions.
All right.
I think it's also very noteworthy here that this council, but the group that has been working on it, everyone's number one priority at the beginning of this was it had to be affordable for everyone. And you guys have worked hard on that to make it affordable. Could this be a moneymaker for the city if we want to? Yeah, absolutely, we could. But then we would limit our citizens that could go. And so, again, I appreciate the work y'all have put in to make this affordable for everyone. Thank you.
We have a couple of questions, Jamie.
Sorry.
Youth, what are the ages for youth? What's the upper age for a youth versus adult?
218.
Okay, so up to 18 is still youth, all right?
Yes.
And then when do you become a senior?
60.
60, all right? For family, what ages does that cover? If I have a 20-year-old child, does that cover that, or what's the age? What's the family?
All right, so a family is 2 adults and 4 minors.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
6 max in a
Yes, sir.
family.
Right.
Purchase 2 family memberships if you have 6 kids.
Well, those additional kids, the additional 2 children, you could take the youth rate. Welcome.
Were these, how did we come to these numbers?
Yes, those started with the original study that was done, I believe it was 2017. And we took those numbers that were suggested to the city of Conway, but also looked at local cities that offer what we are trying to offer. So we looked at their rates, and I will say that our rates beat most of the other cities.
And I think you note in here that the budget that you presented is based on this rate.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
How will we verify membership? Will we have ID cards or digital or phone? If somebody's on family membership, how do I do that when I walk in?
Yes, so we will have clear instructions how to do that very soon.
Okay. All
We
right.
will have a Civic Rec system, so it's basically the same software that Parks and Rec uses now. You'll be able to go online, you'll be able to purchase your membership. So the first time that you come to the center, we'll print you a membership
Okay.
card, and then the next time you come, you can walk in the door, scan your card, and go about.
I do have a question. I know the answer from Felicia. Miss Isby,
Yes.
have you learned to swim?
I'm not disclosing that at this time.
That answers that. Theo, I thought you were gonna work on that.
You can't teach anybody to swim if they never get in the water.
Okay.
You know, you can give them how-to lessons, but you gotta get in there sooner or later.
I get in the water every day.
I'm not talking about it taking a shower. I've been told it don't count. I could be wrong.
And we do have, we know the party room is, a lot of folks have asked questions about that. Some of our local teams have asked about the competition pool. And if you haven't had a chance to drive out there yet, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
I was visiting with Jamie before the meeting, and this past weekend was at a very similar facility in Texas for a family event. And it was really cool to sit at the front of the building and watch how many people came and go in, like from senior citizens down to young kids that were outside playing on the playground. Just, made me even more excited for having this for the community. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Mr. Drew.
Welcome.
How many lanes are in the competition pool?
8.
8.
Any other questions of Miss?
The section 2,
Bryce.
is that to be omitted, I understand?
Sorry.
Our version has a section 2, but I understand that's going to be omitted.
About raising the rate.
Don't think I have it in mind.
Sorry, say that again?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we did not get a revised copy. If y'all took that out already, we did not get a revised copy. I'm
sorry.
sorry. Okay, so section 2 is omitted.
So that being said, I would make a motion to approve ordinance 02549 with the omission of section 2 that's shown on our copy.
I'll second that.
Well, I'll let Sheila second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve this fee structure for the Conway Community Center. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
02549, Mr. Hawks,
Yes.
Mr. Grimes,
Aye.
Mr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Ms. Isby,
Yes.
Ms. Mel,
Aye.
Mr. Spurgers.
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask Jamie one more question?
Yes, sir.
This-
Yes, sir.
This doesn't affect, I'm looking at this again. Member rates, pickleball court, if you walk in and it's not under use, do you still have to pay to use it for an hour, or can you just walk up and use it?
No, if you're a member, you can use it.
Okay, so the fee shown here is only if you want to reserve it to ensure that it's
That's
there,
correct.
not over somebody else. Great,
Yes, sir.
that's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. We're excited. All right, next up, we have our Public Safety Committee. We have a resolution recognizing our public safety telecommunicators as first responders who serve all of Faulkner County, Arkansas, and who support their designation as first responders at the state and federal levels. And before we get to this, this is something Sean has visited with me about. And of course, you all know this, council. The telecommunicators in Conway and Faulkner County do a tremendous job. They are the first line of defense, not only for our responders, our police officers and our firefighters, but they are lifesavers and caregivers to folks on the other end of the phone. And just from some of them who I've known in the past, who the pressure of the job didn't keep them there long, and it was very understandable. These folks go from telling a distraught mother how to do CPR on her infant to getting chewed out because somebody's trash maybe didn't get picked up that day. So the job they do, and without rehashing any of our past, they did a tremendous job when we had our incident at Fifth Avenue. The number of calls that were coming in, there was calls they were getting from the officers and the fire service. My hat is off to you. I salute you in the job that you guys do. You're irreplaceable. So this was easy for me tonight, but Sean, I will turn it over to you.
I need to read the entire resolution. How would you like to proceed, council?
Like to, if you.
Just thinking
like
about
to
it,
not
what are your
do it.
thoughts?
Oh, he can't always
a
wait
lot.
to hear Sean.
I like to hear Sean talk. Y'all can come on up.
Yeah.
Come on up.
In fact, they should, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, one of them should read it.
You're the boss. That's up to you.
No, I get it. I get it.
Somebody's reluctant to come for some reason. I don't know why.
We obviously have a lot more, but there's about 6 of them right now working,
good.
6 p.m. to correct. But yes, this resolution recognizing public safety telecommunicators as first responders who serve all of Faulkner County, Arkansas, and to support their designation as first responders at the state and federal levels. Whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first point of contact for citizens in crisis, playing a vital role in the emergency response system by gathering critical information, coordinating the dispatch of emergency services, and providing essential guidance to ensure the safety of both the public and emergency responders. And whereas these professionals serve all of Faulkner County, Arkansas, including city, county, and rural communities, providing comprehensive 911 services and dispatch support for law enforcement, fire departments, and other public safety agencies. And whereas they are highly trained to handle complex and high-pressure calls involving law enforcement and fire-related emergencies, often making split-second decisions with limited information under intense stress. And whereas public safety telecommunicators must handle the emotional and mental burden of answering thousands of calls annually, being the steady voice on the line as citizens experience the worst days of their lives, all while ensuring the safety and coordination of emergency responders in the field. And whereas, despite the vital nature of their duties, public safety telecommunicators have historically been classified in federal labor systems as administrative or clerical personnel, a designation that fails to reflect their professional status and essential role in emergency services. And whereas the City of Conway recognizes the growing national movement to classify public safety telecommunicators as first responders and seeks to affirm and support that recognition. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Conway, Arkansas, Section 1, that the City of Conway hereby recognizes public safety telecommunicators serving Faulkner County as first responders in acknowledgement of their essential life-saving role in public safety operations. Section 2, that the City of Conway formally supports efforts at the state and federal levels to reclassify and designate public safety telecommunicators as first responders. Section 3, that a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the Governor of Arkansas, the Arkansas General Assembly, and members of Arkansas's congressional delegation as a formal expression of the city's support.
I move for adoption of this resolution.
Second.
That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a motion and a second to approve this resolution. Any further discussion?
Anybody up there want to say anything?
Yeah, anybody want to say anything?
They've been talking on the phone all day.
I know, I'm just,
Well, this
got it looking at me. Okay, never mind.
this was one of the easiest ones we've done, folks, y'all. The council has voted. Ms. Hurd?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. All opposed. Thank you for the job. you
Thank
did.
you. Right.
Thank you, Council.
You. I hope I never need y'all, but I know that if I do, that you will be there.
Mr. Hawkins, can I give you a little advice?
Yes, sir.
If you ever ask a fireman if you're doing okay, and he tells you yes, and you hear a helicopter coming, he's lying.
He's telling the story.
Or he or she. Chief Weedor, next up, we have an ordinance to approve the appropriation of funds to purchase an ammo burner for the Conway Fire Department. Chief Weedor.
We received $109 from the sale of scrap metal generated from the use of the ammo burner and asking to put that in miscellaneous supplies account.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this ordinance appropriating funds. Conway Fire Department. Need further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
Ordinance 2550, Ms. Mel,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Hawks,
Yes.
Mr. Grimes.
Aye.
Mr. Ledbetter,
Yes.
Mr. Spurgers.
Aye.
Mr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Ms. Isby.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Chief Weedle, we have an ordinance to approve the appropriation of reimbursement funds for the Conway Fire Department.
We have received a reimbursement check for our deployment to Hurricane Milton and are asking for acceptance.
Make a motion for the adoption of the ordinance 02551.
Second.
And that amount is $3,745. Have a motion and a second to adopt this ordinance. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
Mr. Grimes,
Aye.
Ms. Mel,
Aye.
Mr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Mr. Spurgers.
Aye.
Ms. Isby,
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Hawks.
Yes.
That passes 8-0. Weed, how'd you let Chief Winter slip
I
off
don't know.
out of the country on a night like
I don't
Come on, man. Next up, we have an ordinance approving a carload trailer donation for the Conway Fire Department. Chief?
The Arkansas Department of Emergency Management has donated a hazmat trailer, and we are asking for acceptance.
Make a motion for adoption of the ordinance 02552.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the donation of a trailer for the Conway Fire Department. How did y'all talk AJ out of this?
I have no idea on that either.
All right. Any further discussion? Ms. Hurd.
Mr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Isby,
Yes.
Mr. Hawks,
Yes.
Ms. Mel,
Aye.
Mr. Spurgers.
Aye.
Mr. Grimes.
Aye.
That passes 8-0. Thank you, Kenny. Last item on the agenda for tonight, council, is new business, and it's consideration to change the city council agenda for the summer schedule, which would be June, July, and August. We would meet the fourth Tuesday of those months, so it would be June 24th, July 22nd, or August 26th, or we can keep our current schedule. It is entirely up to you guys as to what we do.
This is the James
James
Ed
Ed
Smith
Smith rule.
Memorial
Just saying.
Adoption, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we go with the consideration of changing the date for, it looks like the fourth Tuesday for the months of June, July, and August.
We have a motion and a second to approve changing the dates to our summer months.
One-
We will meet the fourth Tuesday. You know what's interesting in looking at this is when we come back, it will be September
I know.
when we go back. Yes, sir, Mr. Burger.
One new kid question here. The reason we do this, if I remember you told me previously, is because there's historically far less activity during the summer, right? Like development project, everything just slows
Not
down.
necessarily less activity. Like everyone else, council and everyone else likes to travel and they plan vacations around it, as does everyone else. So a lot of business that we typically do, you will not see during this time, but business pretty well continues as usual in the city. But it gives everybody a chance to plan a vacation and spend some time with their family.
Including city staff. who
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to be here.
yeah. City staff that has to be here for meetings.
And
Yeah.
at worst here, we're delaying approval of something for planning for 2 weeks,
2
right?
weeks.
So, okay,
Yes.
got it,
That would be
That's,
correct.
that's the main reason for doing it on the fourth, so that we can cover our planning
got it.
items. Yeah.
Yes.
Good
Thank you.
question. Oh,
For
Miss,
any, and
Yes,
for
sir.
anybody interested, I will not be here at the August meeting. I know people keep tabs on that on me.
all right. Miss Hurd,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
that passes 8-0.
You text me and remind me of that August meeting, because I've forgotten already.
Council, that's all we have tonight. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.